Hello, I'm Dr. Cassie DeWitt. I'm a doctor of occupational therapy, a pelvic floor therapist. I come from years of leaking urine. I started leaking urine at the age of 16, urgency, frequency, nighttime wakings, diagnosed with a bladder prolapse and a rectal prolapse. By the age of 19, did surgery, medication, pelvic pain, pain with intercourse, hip and back pain, constipation, you name it. I had it. Now I've taught thousands of women how to stop leaking urine without surgery and without medication. So let's dive into the topic today. It's all about wanting to improve your pelvic floor function and just not knowing where to start. And I always tell women the first place to start is collecting data. Like, where are you at on the pelvic floor chart, right? So often we're like, yeah, we go to the bathroom, I think every 2 hours, or maybe I wake up 2 times a night. Maybe it's 4 times a night. Do I empty a full bladder? All of those things. Those are things we're not really taught either. So first things first, collect your data. I want you to 100% leave one. I'm going to put a link down below for a bladder log, and you're going to fill it out. And in the bladder log, you're going to put your date, what you ate and drank that day. Then you're going to put when you went to the bathroom, what time you went to the bathroom, how long you urinated for, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, or take your phone in and clock it. We're wanting a 10-second void. That would be ideal. 8 to 10, at least. Men are going to have longer urine streams because their urethra is longer. So they can look for, 14 to 16 seconds minimum to show them emptying a full bladder. That is the goal. Our bladder wants to be hydrated with minerals and water, fill up, send a signal to our brain, and then we go and sit down, void, empty a full, complete bladder. 5 to 7 times a day, 5 to 8 times a day, depending on how old you are and if you're on medication for diuretics, right? And there are other medications that have side effects of frequent urination too, but 5 to 8 times a day is ideal with no more than one nighttime waking. We're also going to be aware of what triggers our bladder to pee. So urgency is a big thing that we all can relate to a little bit. It's also known as key in the door syndrome. So something like walking in your front door might tell your bladder, okay, it's time to go to the bathroom, when really you just went to the bathroom 20 minutes ago. Or maybe you have an important meeting and there's a lot of anxiety with maybe it's a person that triggers your bladder to be like, hey, go to the bathroom. And you sit down and you pee for 3 seconds, even though you felt like you were going to leak or full bladder empty. That's urgency. We're going to figure out what our urgency triggers are. For instance, anytime before I have a meeting or I'm meeting with a patient or something like that, I get a little anxious and my bladder will be like, hey, are you sure you don't want to empty? I'm like, nope, I'm good, right? So finding out your triggers, my old triggers used to be in an airplane and my like leaving the gym. If I saw my gym doors, I was just full bladder empty. That was one of my triggers that I had to work through and train my bladder. So you're also going to write down how many pads you use in a day because you use this assessment later on, right? So you're going to use this assessment later on so you can see how far you've come in your pelvic floor journey. You're also going to write down what your urgency rating was, like 1 being not really bad, 3 being like I thought I was going to pee in my pants and I did, or something like that. You just put a 3. If it was like, yeah, it was there, it was definitely I had to go, I couldn't hold it, it was impossible, then I would say that's a 2. So when you have, and then you're going to write down if you did leak urine and what activity did you leak with. I was unloading groceries. I picked my baby up out of the crib. I sneezed. I coughed. I went for a jog. I went for a walk. I slipped. I got scared. Whatever the scenario is, I got up from my seat. Sometimes we're really lucky and you just take a step and that's when it comes out. right? That was me. I just emptied my bladder all the time. I had zero control. So, super important to know when you're doing it. This is all data collection. And then that is the very first step we do when we're learning about our pelvic floor health and wellness. We're learning about our bladder function here, and we're learning about our pelvic floor. So, super interesting stuff. You do 3 days of this bladder log, fill it out, get yourself going, analyze it by looking at it and being like, oh my gosh. So I have my cup of coffee at 5:30 in the morning. I get up 5 a.m., go to the bathroom, empty a full bladder, of course. 5:30, I have my coffee. 5:40, I go to the bathroom again. Right there, that should trigger something like, oh, maybe caffeine or coffee. Coffee's not only caffeinated, but it's also acidic. So even if you drink decaffeinated coffee, it can still irritate your bladder lining. And then you can say, okay, I drank my coffee. I'm going to have another cup of coffee. And say by 6 o'clock, you're going to the bathroom again. So by 6 o'clock, we've gone 3 times. That's over half the amount of times we want to go in a day, right? So that gives you data. Nothing wrong with it. I love my coffee, right? So nothing wrong with that. Then you say, okay, after I drink my coffee and I drink my water, I'm really consistent with my water. I don't go again till say 10. Perfect. I empty a full bladder. Then I don't go again till 2. Perfect. Empty a full bladder. And then I notice I have some urgency when I'm leaving work or when I walk in my front door. Walking in our front door isn't always the most calming situation, depending on what we're walking into, right? So at the end of a long day, I have 4 babies. Sometimes it can be like, okay, shut down work mode. Now I'm mom mode. And that can give a little anxiety. Don't ever judge what urgency is doing to you. Just know that that's what's happening. So all of this is just you collecting data and analyzing that data so you can make choices like, okay, I'm not emptying a full bladder every time. That's okay. I can train myself. Maybe I need to hydrate more. Maybe I need more minerals in my water. Okay, maybe that 3 o'clock Dr. Pepper isn't doing my bladder any favors. Even though I love it, it's causing me to go to the bathroom so many times. These are all the things you're going to go through and figuring out how you can match your bladder function to your dream outcome, which I always tell women, we're never just thinking about right now. We are thinking about what we're doing in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And we do things now that are a tad bit uncomfortable and that give us a little peace, like my coffee in the morning. It's my peaceful time. I tell myself I deserve it. I really enjoy it. But I really enjoy not leaking urine way more. And if I can get that under control now, in 40 years, when I'm in, my 80s or 70s or 60s or 50s, I'm doing all the things I want to do and my bladder's not holding me back. That's the big, big thing is sometimes we can get really consumed with what's going on now and we don't want to do the discomfort now. But when you're in your 60s, and most of my women that I treat are above the age of 55, I can't tell you how many of them would say, I wish I did this in my 30s because I don't want to mess around with it now. I'm retired. I have grandkids I want to play with. I want to travel and I'm stuck wearing pads and packing diaper bags still for myself. I'm on all this medication. I had to have surgery. Those didn't work, all the things. So we tackle the things now. So futuristically, we are living our dream outcome. But I will say, if you are in your 60s and 70s, and even my oldest patient was 87, she did phenomenal because women are incredible, absolutely incredible with what they can do with their bodies. So I hope you find this helpful. Collect your data, look at that bladder log, and let me know if you have any questions. You can find all my links to my online course and to my You're in This Together community membership, where we go through all of this together and I teach you that way. And of course, that bladder log, you will find all my social media accounts there too. So if you ever have a question, just shoot me a DM. I'm the one who answers my messages, and we can go from there. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any pelvic floor tips and tricks. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.